go in period number 2. And the Penguins scoring machine is alive and well here at the Civic Arena, at least at the moment. And Cicerelli now cutting back with the Penguins in on the right side. Snap one off at Pietrangelo. Watch sail wide. And here is Brian Trottier. Trottier on a 3-on-2 if the Penguins hurry. They've got the play. Trottier moves into the Caps in on the right side. Yager cuts for the net. He's there. And he's stopped by Beaupre, who turned it over. Now Yager on the far wing with it still controlling. The Capitals will get possession though as they took it off his stick. And Dale Hunter scrambling back going to the Penguin line. He tried to get around the defense. Gordy Roberts poked it to the corner and Brian Trottier snap it around and it'll be Jaromir Jagr. Jagr of Pittsburgh looks to send an outlet pass up ahead and he does to Brian Trottier of Pittsburgh. In the Caps territory in the right wing. Moves in, he's sending it up, but Johansson read the play. It's off his stick though. Backhanded by Trottier. Save made, rebound Loney. He can't put it in against Beaupre. And Cicerelli gets possession of the puck. He goes to the Penguins in on a 4-man rush for the Capitals to Alan May in front of deflection. Snap. Berglund can't put it in the rebound. And here comes Roberts and the Penguins back. Do they have enough left on this ship? I don't know. It's Roberts with Trottier open on the left wing. He cuts into the Caps in. Goes to Recchi, who just jumped on. Recchi has 2 goals. Centers it for Loney, and it went right by his stick. Oh, Recchi put it right in front of that net. And Loney just couldn't quite take the pass. Now Coffey of the Penguins. 4-2 the Penguins lead. Rambles into the Caps in. Coffey down deep. Going behind the net. He is bumped heavily on a good check, but he keeps going. Going to Recchi. Recchi behind the net to Mario Lemieux. Turns, trying to sweep it around. He can't do it. Stand right side. Shoots it. Hit the skate of Lemieux. And hops over to Dino Cicerelli. And the Capital winger comes out in there. He slams in. Now Cicerelli retaliates and penalty. I think there'll be a penalty coming up against Dino Cicerelli. He was clutched by Bob Airey, but he retaliated, and the Capitals go to the penalty box again.
I'll tell you, Cicerelli has had a short fuse in his career. When he takes a hit like that, he comes back like a wild man at times with people. Remember what he did to Luke Richardson a couple of years ago.
12:27 left in period number 2. Pittsburgh 4, Washington 2 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
You know, Cicerelli lost it for a moment. Bob Airey hit him on the far side, and he just molested Bob Airey on the far side of the ice. Airey came over and just crushed him into the boards. There was some glass there. That was a clean hit. Now, what was wrong with that? Come on, Dino. You're going to have to be able to take a hit every now and then. This is the playoffs. He goes to the box for roughing, and the Pens have a chance to open it up to a big lead here. Trottier made a save with a shot of the backhand, and Beaupre stopped him, and then Loney in there also digging, but Beaupre just stood his ground and made the save.
And the Penguins work on their 5th power play opportunity of the game. They lead 4-2 over the Capitals.
Lucy Miko has already won $100 on our Ironman Advantage contest. Samuel Gressok of Reynoldsville, PA is our contestant now.
And here comes Coffey. He goes to center ice to Kevin Stevens. Back to Lemieux into the Caps in. Left side to Recchi. Try to cut in and behind the defense, and he can't quite make that play. The Capitals break it up. Kelly Miller shorthanded going to the Penguins in. Circling around. Great move there. Goes behind the net shorthanded. Murphy just rides him off the puck, but he goes after it again to the near boards. Kelly Miller really working hard.
Spinorama move. Man. Denise Savard.
Kelly Miller again with that puck. Breaks into the Penguins in. Got to be careful you don't take a penalty here. And likely to draw one the way he's going at it. Barry Murphy puts the puck on the stick of Coffey, and here come the Penguins now with 1:15 to go. Back into the Capitals in. It goes to Mario Lemieux. Lemieux pulls up left point to Coffey. Skates with it, going center point. Stops now. Back to Lemieux. Mario look, put it in front of the net, but Langway is right there. Can he clear? He did in the first attempt. He did a second crack and does a good lead pass to Ridley. Back 1-1 against Murphy. Turns around, comes in with a backhander. Hit the post to the left of Pietrangelo. Boy, the Capitals, Ridley and Miller really putting on the Ritz. Short-handed. Coffey now, lead pass over to Jagr. Jagr, left wing over to Lemieux. Back to Jagr. Jagr goes to the corner. Behind the net to Mario Lemieux. Lemieux in front. He can't get it to Recchi. Cut up by the Capitals again. And Michael Babanka scoots through. He goes to the Penguins in. He stops left side to Hatcher. Short-handed going for the net. He goes in behind the goal. Hatcher around. Lemieux stripped him with the puck, and the Penguins should have a break here as Hatcher's trapped up ice. Lemieux's flying down the left wing. Jagr is in front. Lemieux stops. Look, shoots, and he missed the goal. Great skating right now. Here comes Dmitry Kristich of Washington going to the Penguins strike. Down the right wing. 4-2 the Penguins lead. 18 seconds left here in the penalty. Jagr takes command of the puck back in his own zone. Final rush coming up for the Penguins. Ronnie Francis trying to beat Iafrate. Got a half a step on him. Goes around him now. In the corner, Iafrate with speed caught back up to him and took the puck away. He collides with Trottier. He took the check to make that play to allow the Penguins to have the puck again. 1 second of the penalty. It's over. Francis so in front. Loose puck right in front. Jagr can't tee it up. And Johansson scrambles back for the Capitals. Calle Johansson goes right wing to Cicerelli, who just came on. He is hit by Samuelson and crunched. And play is whistled offside. faceoff outside of the Pittsburgh blue line. 10:17 to go in period number 2. The Penguins lead this game 4-2 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
What's inside Chevy Lumina? Room. The most 6-passenger room in its class. More people are winning with the heartbeat of America.
Score goals, it just gets them rolling, gives them so much momentum, and just makes them hungry to score more. And that's what they seem to be doing right now, looking for more. Ridley made a great play to turn and wheel a backhand shot to Pietrangelo, but the guy who really made that play, Mike, was Rod Langway back in his own zone, because most defensemen would get the puck and just wildly shoot it up ice. But that's exactly the thing he was talking about earlier today. He got the puck, he looked up, he waited, and he found Ridley at center ice with a nice lead pass, and Ridley went in shorthanded and almost scored.
Iafrate now in the Capitals in. Pressure by Brian Trottier. Trottier around the boards. Penalty coming up here. It'll be against the Penguins. Pittsburgh will be shorthanded. It'll be a holding call against the Pens with 10:01 to go, and Trottier is a guilty party. So Trottier sits down. The Capitals will get their third power play chance, and they're 1 for 2 on the night. They got a big goal to pull within 1 in this period. The Penguins 9:59, the time of the call.
Al Iafrate will make you hold him sometimes. Boy, he can dance on his skates. He reached back with his arm to hold Trottier off, and Trottier grabbed hold of his arm for just a half a second, but it was enough for Gregson to call the holding penalty on Brian Trottier.
Well, if you joined us late, you missed a whole lot of action. The Capitals, I think the Capitals were playing in the first period, the first 13 minutes, about as well as they could possibly play. And they had a 1-0 lead. That's all they could get out of it. And then the Penguins, I think, from that point on, have played about as well as they could play here. The way they've turned things around against the Capitals. It has been a tremendous skating game between these two clubs.
Just remember the old momentum. It's such a big factor in the playoffs.
Well, you look in the net right now. As far as this game, we've got a long way to go, halfway through in regulation. But number 40, Frank Pietrangelo, came up very tough in the early going against the Capitals. They might well have been ahead by more than the 1-0 score, and they're offside of the Caps going to the Penguins in on the power play.
I think the fans have a tendency to focus in on the home team, and they'll say, boy, the Penguins are playing so great, or they're playing so poorly. Well, how about the Washington Capitals were playing really well early, and the Penguins have really played well more recently, and that's usually the way it works. I mean, there are two teams on the ice. Randy Gillen getting his chance to join the action in the playoffs, being scratched for a couple of games. One thing about Gillen, when he comes out there after having not played for a while, it's like he's shot out of a cannon.
Mullen and Gillen, the penalty killers. And at the Penguin line, Dale Hunter had a stick tied up, but he worked it back to the left point to Kevin Hatcher. Around the right side, over to Calle Johansson. Back to Hatcher. Hatcher led the Caps in scoring in the regular season with 24, along with Kelly Miller. As Johansson drive it up to the Penguins in, up the right wing boards. Dale Hunter has scored his first playoff goal. Goes to Bavaca. Cuts to the net, trying to drop it off in front. He can't do it. Around to the right point, it goes to Hatcher. Hatcher moves it over to Dale Hunter, and now in the corner to Michael Bavaca. Christie's went for the net. It goes to Johansson. Right side, Hunter shooting. Blocked, and the Penguins have it. And here's Joey Mullen. Ramblin' a check and couldn't quite get it out. Right side, Bavaca. Moving the puck left side over to Christie. He lost the puck, and Randy Gillen will carry it up and shoot it up into the Capital zone. Lemieux coming on for the Penguins along with Bob Airy. 1:09 to go in the penalty to Brian Trottier.
The way Lemieux's flying, Mike, I just have a feeling something good might happen for him shorthanded here, because he's starting to really get those wheels going.
And it will be Kevin Hatcher flipping the puck into the Penguin zone on the carom around to the near corner. Murphy is hit. Capitals have it, and Cicerelli overskated though, and the Penguins have possession, and Mario Lemieux backhands it away down the Capitals territory. Beaupre is hit on the action by Bob Airy, who gets involved with Iafrate, and that keeps him pinned back in the Capital zone. And here come the Capitals on the power play. Iafrate and Bob Airy, and they're jamming up. And now Iafrate's got his hands over the face of Bob Airy. Bobby hanging in there. They had an altercation in game 1, did they not? Bob Airy and Iafrate, and they're both going to sit down. You would think that would favor the Penguins the way Iafrate's been going.
Yeah, they did have an altercation. Iafrate was picked up a roughing penalty, and Bob Airy an elbowing penalty in that first game.
So they're both going to sit down here.
There's an elbow from Iafrate. And take Bobby's helmet off.
Bobby's got that glove in his face, and then he returned and gouged him in the eye.
Oh, good. I bet that feels good.
Bobby had that glove in his eye, in his face too.
Yeah, well, a glove in the face is one thing. Gouging a guy's eyes out is another.
For gouging.
I'll tell you, that's something we've heard a lot more of in the last few years. You know, Rick Tocchet, he got his eyes gouged, and who's the other guy? Rick Tocchet did it to somebody else too. The guy from the Islanders. The defenseman. Chanel.
Well, I'll have to put it in the book then. Eye gouging, 2 minutes.
$10 fine.
You got that. You know, that's a little high, Staggy. Here down the right wing, will come over to Ridley. He moves into the Penguins' end on the power play still. Left side, shoots, scores! Oh, he beat Pietrangelo on the stick-hand side. The Capitals get a big power play goal there. Another one. They register their second of this game also, and now have made it 4-3. That just escaped the right side of Pietrangelo. I don't know if it hit something on the way in or not.
It may have. It may have hit the defenseman in front. Larry Murphy, I think it is. Ridley let the shot go. It did hit an arm. Changed direction on Frank Pietrangelo. That was all Samuelson. Well, Larry Murphy's going to come onto the ice and replace all Samuelson for the Penguins, but Alfie was backing in. It went off his arm and just changed direction on Pietrangelo.
Well, Ridley gets his third of the playoffs. Another power play goal. Johansson has the only assist. And it's amazing the number of power play goals that the Penguins have given up in playoff competition. They lead 4-3 now on the right side. Capitals having a shot by Dale Hunter. Grabbed by Pietrangelo, and he pulls it in and holds on. Now the Penguins keep reaching up to get the George Foreman knockout punch, but they keep getting pushed back, and they keep dancing toe-to-toe with Holyfield. They can't quite get the Caps out of it here. 4-3 Pittsburgh. 8:09 to go in the second on the Penguins Hockey Network. Here in the second period, 8:09. The Capitals come in, and here's Hatcher shooting one. It was deflected. One off the glove of Pietrangelo. Around to the near corner, and Gordy Roberts banking up ahead. Bruins lead Montreal 2-0. Period number 2 at Boston. And the Bruins lead that series 1-0. Here's Gordy Roberts in his own end. Misplayed the puck. Capitals taken away. Ciccarelli tried to turn and shoot it, and he can't do it. Tip it. Leave it in the far corner, but Mary Murphy is right there. This game is seesawed back and forth as far as momentum. Capitals keep creeping back into it. When the Penguins open it up by 2, they get a power play goal, and they cut it to 1 again. Recchi trying to come down the right wing. He's up in it by Langway and off his skates. Washington again. Stepping into the Penguins' end. Dale Hunter comes down the slot. Checked from behind by Stevens. Dished it off for Christie, but Lemieux is right there to take it away from him. Here comes Mario Lemieux. Lemieux to the left wing, going to the Capitals' end, comes down, shoot it towards the net. Ball Frey made the save. The rebound comes in front, but nobody is there for the Penguins, and the Capitals come spinning back to center. And it'll be Drews hit on the play. He has his first playoff goal. Can't get around the net. Lemieux fired up to Kevin Stevens. Left wing intended for Recchi, but Recchi's drop pass back for Stevens. Cut off by the Capitals. Recchi and Hatcher bang one another, and they stick one another. Now play goes the other way towards the Capitals line. Stevens shoots it up in the air and knocked down by John Druce. Druce against Coffey. Coffey flattens him with a body check into the Penguin zone. Pivaka comes over to take a piece of Stanton, and the sticks come up. And now Stanton and Pivaka push and shove as Coffey is on top of one of the Capitals on the far side. That's John Druce, who is down. Want to face off in the Penguin zone. Well, obviously, in this series, penalties are gigantic. I mean, the Capitals so far 2 for 3 in the power play, 4 for 7 in the series to date. The Penguins went 1 for 3 in the opening game and are 2 for 5 tonight. So you can see how valuable the power play has been for both these clubs. Wanted to pass along a special hello to Dave Engel, who not feeling too well right now. And Davey, I know you're a big Penguin fan, and we want to see you back in the starting lineup. And happy birthday to Marty Witt also. But Davey's getting better, and he's watching the Pens tonight, I'm sure.
Paul Coffey going over for some windshield wiper work. You can't see out of that visor. That's the other thing. It fogs up on you, and you're in there breathing on the inside of it. Naturally, it's going to get fogged up at times. Even those ones that are just cover half the face get fogged up.
Like Francis is there. Francis wearing a half shield.
Hey, it's amazing. You know, Paul Coffey, He doesn't even like to wear a helmet, really. I mean, he would never wear one in practice. He just recently started wearing one in practice because the Penguins make it a rule, but he used to go the entire practices without them last year. Now he says he'll never take the visor off.
Pavanka and Francis lined up. Stevens jumped the gun. And they're warning Kevin Stevens, and Alan May comes over to settle one next to him. Top of the circle on the right side of the Penguins end. The Penguins have outshot the Capitals 21-20 in this game. And pulled back by Francis to Paul Stanton. Looking to check on him was Alan May. And Coffey corrals the puck, and here he comes out of his own end with two Capitals trapped back. The Penguins have a four-man rush coming up. Coffey into the Capitals end on the right side. Play it in the slot. Here's Stevens shooting, scoring! Kevin Stevens makes it 5-3 Pittsburgh. Oh, no, Eddie Spaghetti. Stevens and the Penguins cash in again.
That's what Paul Coffey can do for you. Coming up ice, a five-man rush practically for the Pens, and he just found Kevin Stevens somehow in the slot through that maze of players. He busted out of his own end and went end-to-end. Paul Coffey with that tremendous skating stride and just handling the puck all the way down the right side, looked back to find Stevens pretty much trailing the play, and he wristed it past Don Beaupre. What a rush by Paul Coffey and a great pass to Kevin Stevens.
Now Coffey has done one thing, at least to this point of the game. He's backed up all the words that he had put in the papers today, didn't he? I mean, he's got 3 assists. And he has really been flying out here, but the game still has a long way to go. And 5-3 Pittsburgh. Coffey felt the Penguins had to pick the intensity up, but certainly he has done that. There isn't any question about it. And Jágr now on his own end. Penguins, though, every time they get the lead like this, they seem to lay back a little bit, but the Capitals have taken advantage of power play situations. And again, the Penguins trying to maybe deliver a knockout punch. May with a puck in the Penguins in, shoots it. That's blocked. Picked up now in the far corner by Jágr. Jágr turns around. And up to Loney and back on a 2-on-1 with Trottier. I don't think they have enough speed to make it happen, though. They will not. Trottier shoots it, and that was blocked. Longmire got back to make the play, and now Iafrate was also back, and here's Loney around the net. Couldn't get it to Trottier, but comes to Roberts. He'll fake a shot. Move down, put it behind the goal to Troy Loney of Pittsburgh. And the Capitals in. Loney trying to get away from Lawler. Double team. Pavanka's there also. It's a pretty good matchup, I believe, for the Penguins right now.
I agree with you, Mike.
Right back in behind the net, and here's Loney. Again working Pavanka. Around the boards, it will go to Roberts, and Roberts will shoot it. Deflected. Jágr's got the puck. Jágr turning, trying to let it go, and he can't. Off the right side, Murphy. Shoot it back towards the net. Loney can't find it. Murphy has it one more time into the corner for Brian Trottier. Let it go for Jágr. Jágr around. Iafrate got a piece of it. Jágr works away from that check. Now he's knocked down by Iafrate. And on top of the puck he goes, and now he'll hit it. Loney comes in to try to get to Iafrate with Jágr down. But Jágr making it happen against one of the league's best, Iafrate, and he is driving him crazy. But don't feel alone, Al. He's done it to everybody all year long in his rookie year. 5-3 Pens.
Penguins grinders, the best forechecking line the Penguins have as far as getting it in deep and working those backboards, similar to what the Washington Capitals do, is this line here. Jágr's great at it. He went down, and Iafrate took a shot at him after he gave Iafrate a little push. They were even there. Gregson was staring right in there. He saw both players do it. Didn't call a penalty.
Well, it was 2-1 Pittsburgh at the end of one. They now lead 5-3, and here on the move will be Tim Berglund of Washington. Snapping the puck back into the Penguin near corner. Samuelson works it up to Mario Lemieux. Lemieux looks for Coffey just beyond his reach. Cantor will pull it in. And the Capitals storm into the Penguins in. Kelly Miller with a long shot. Samuelson blocked it. And a charging call coming up here against Bob Airey, apparently. Bob Airey will be called for charging. And the Penguins will be shorthanded again. This is not good news for the Penguins as far as killing penalties, but you've got to also figure that, you know, how many can they put in the net? I mean, how can the percentage keep going at such a high rate?
Kevin Hatcher had the puck on the boards, and Bob Airey lined him up early and went in to hit him, and he gave him the charging penalty. Now see, there's a call. I'm going back to the New Jersey series now, okay? You remember the play that Fetisov made on Lemieux where he dropped the puck off to Recchi and then Fetisov drilled him? Theoretically, you're allowed to do that, except that Airey did one thing wrong. You can hit the guy, the last guy with the puck. He went off his skates. You can't throw yourself at a player like that. You leave your skates, it's charging. Gary does it a lot. He's just trying to match hips. You know, he's a shorter player, and Hatcher's gigantic. He wants to get up there and meet him body to body.
Well, the Capitals go to the power play for the 4th time tonight. They're 2 for 3 with a man advantage, and Gillen and Mullen will be out to try and kill the penalty. With Roberts and Murphy back. 5-3 Pittsburgh. 4:54 to go in the second period. And it'll be Larry Murphy from behind his own goal. And he'll slap that puck all the way back into Washington territory. Elliot Hansen went back. He is stymied a bit by Randy Gillen, but here come the Capitals on the attack, and really will dish it off now to Johansson. Left wing over to Kevin Hatcher. Feed it up deep into the Penguin zone, and Roberts back to move the puck. He lost it to Kelly Miller. Miller of Washington working the right wing, and Mullen over strips him in the puck, and he get it out. Roberts diving to knock it away. Mullen has him. He shoots it ahead for Randy Gillen. He's going to be called back on a 2-line offside pass against the Penguins. They'll force the play back into the Penguins end, just outside the circle, the top of the circle, to the left of Frank Pietrangelo.
Joey Mullen may have been one of the guys who just didn't have the jump in that game 1 after the emotional game 7, but he's come out here in game 2 and was really flying right from the start for the Pens. Of course, he has a goal here tonight. Really skating. He's doing a good job killing penalties for the Penguins.
Neil Hunter worked it off the boards, and it deflects back into the Capital zone. And Brady defensively for the Capitals, actually working one of the points with Kevin Hatcher. Here he comes flying through to the Penguins end. He comes around. Lost the puck, though, to Grant Jennings. Jennings couldn't control it. John Bruce has it. Walks right to the net. Bruce in front. His shot save made. Rebound. Who will get it? Mario Lemieux clears for the Penguins.
Well, there's an example. You know, Jennings has got to get back into just used to playing in game competition. He's only played 1 game.
And I don't think he's played a whole lot tonight.
No, he hasn't.
And it'll be on the move. The Capitals. Dale Hunter looking back in front. Shoots it up the short side on Pietrangelo. Knocks it away with a blocking glove. Babanka in to the right of the net. And Samuelson's on top of that puck. And now Lemieux and Hunter push one another as Hunter had knocked down run into Samuelson.
Hunter smiling.
Man. And the face-off will be to the right of the Penguin net now with 46 seconds to go on the Bob Airey penalty.
John Drew's cutting in on Jennings, who was unable to clear the puck, and he collided right in front of the net with Ulf Samuelsson, and usually the guy who collides with Ulf Samuelsson ends up going down. That's like running into a brick wall.
Boston still leading Montreal 2-0. Second period at Boston. Ork and Hodge have been the goal scorers for the Bruins tonight. And when Andy Moog against Patrick Waugh, the netminders.
Ron Francis has done a pretty good job on the draws.
The Penguins were 10-10 in the first period. We'll get a report at the end of the second, here at home anyway. Ridley and Francis match it up. No, they won't. Gillen has to come on to work against Mike Ridley. Manson and Iafrate now the point men with Cicerelli, Miller, and Ridley up front. And here is from the face-off Roberts blasting it around, and it comes through to center ice. With less than 40 seconds to go now in this manpower advantage. They have an extra skater in the ice against the Penguins with Bob Airey in the penalty box. And Iafrate cuts his way down the right wing into the Penguins end, and Francis took it away, but he can't quite clear. The Capitals have it again. 5-3 Pittsburgh. They pass it to the slot. Roberts broke it up. He leaves the puck for Larry Murphy, and Murphy just trickles it ahead down on the right side of the Capital zone. Beaupre comes out of the net. Leaving it up to Johansson with 14 seconds to go in the penalty. Johansson moves against Mark Recchi, who's checking him. Got it by him, deep into the Penguins into the rink. Roberts pulls back. Good play by Gordy. He was strong in this penalty kill, and Gordy Roberts. Lead pass to Lemieux behind the defense. I guess Iafrate cuts to the net, making a move, and he's hooked, knocked down. Penalty coming up. Iafrate hooked Mario Lemieux. As he went to the net, he got around him. Iafrate is really upset with Terry Grayson, the referee. And now he will sit down. Lemieux put the afterburner on, and Iafrate got the stick into him. And the penalty issued here against Iafrate. 2:50 to go in the period. Penguins 5, Capitals 3 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Now Iafrate hooking Mario Lemieux from behind, and he will sit down. He doesn't like the call. He didn't have position on Lemieux. Lemieux had a clear lane to the net. I'll tell you, I don't know. About as close as you can come to having a penalty shot situation without having it. He never did get a shot away. He was directly behind Mario Lemieux. He didn't have an angle on him at all. Just kept hooking him all the way in.
Well, he wasn't happy with the call. It was made nonetheless. And there's Murphy of the Penguins, left side of Mario Lemieux. 5-3 the Penguins lead. Now to Coffey, left point. Back over to Lemieux. Coffey with 3 points tonight. Lemieux dish it off to Stevens and back to Mario Lemieux. Around to Stevens behind the net, trying to center it out for Recchi, and hit a stick and comes right to the Capitals. And Michael Bavanko works it ahead now to Rod Langway. He just shoots it towards the goal. Stevens banking around. Lemieux will be the first man to get it. He turns on a dime now. Lemieux zigzag through traffic, left side over to Mark Recchi. Recchi to the Capitals line and steps in and shoots it in down the board. Capitals will get it, and they drive it out of the zone. Murphy backpedaling to his own end. Lemieux with a 3-point night for the Penguins. Here's Recchi on the right side. Look for Stevens, broken up, but Recchi at the right point got it with a glove, kicked at it, tried to make a pass, and they came outside of the zone. Recchi will pick a stick up, and the Penguins are forced back to their own end to take control of it with 1:05 to go. The Iafrate penalty. Coffey again. Turns it on. Going to the Capitals end. Great right wing pass over to Francis. Francis back in the slot, but not a good pass there, and Ridley intercepts for the Capitals. Francis, realizing that he had coughed it up, goes back and puts good pressure on the Capitals. They're trying to get out of their own end. Lawler up off the boards. Yager got over to get a piece of it. The Penguins keep it in. And here's Mario Lemieux. Lemieux looking to Yager in the left wing corner. Yager pushing up in front. It came off a stick, and now Miller has it. And he'll turn and whistle it up into the Penguin zone. 33 on the penalty. Coffey surveys the scene, drills it up into the Capital zone. Right wing corner. Yager goes in. You're going to drill it in. That's what you've got to do. And Yager did that job. Let's see if the Penguins can come out of there with a puck. And now a hand pass called here against the Penguins, and they'll force the face-off outside of the Capitals line. Yarmer with that ever-present smile on his face. Very serious guy underneath all that, too, for a young guy, 19. When the season ends, he's really looking forward to going back home and seeing his family. And it's understandable for a young guy to come to the United States at the age of 18 and play in the big leagues. If you're older than 18 or even around that, just put yourself in that position, what it would be all about. It's kind of frightening at times what these young players do, and he's looking forward to going home and just kind of be with the family. But first of all, you get a lot of work to do in the playoffs. 1:08. Time left in the period. 18 seconds to go on the penalty to Iafrate. And Murphy with the puck, giving it to Gordy Roberts. He'll drive it into the Capital right wing corner. Rottier went in with Loney and Yager now working up front. 7 seconds to go with a minute to go in the period, and the penalty will expire here. Penguins will not score in this power play, and they'll be 2 for 6 with a man advantage. Here are the Capitals trying to shut down the Penguins' attack as they come up ice, but Larry Murphy flips it back into the Capitals' end. 5-3 the Penguins lead here in the second, and the Pens are offside going to Capitals territory. Well, the Penguins will have the lead, it appears, for the second time in this series. Going to the third period, you may remember in the game one, the Capitals rallied with a 3-goal effort to defeat the Penguins 4-2. Penguins trying to even this series up, but the big offensive machine coming to life here in this one tonight against the Capitals. Penguins trail in this game 1-0. Were thoroughly outplayed in the first 13 minutes of it, but they really turned things around after a goal by Phil Bourque, and they have been a better team here through this. Here's Yager back into the Capitals in since that point. And Kyprios comes up with it. The Capitals have just stayed close, and they've down by a pair, and Alan May to the right wing, trying to get around Gordy Roberts. Roberts stopped him. Roberts has played a strong game tonight here for the Penguins, particularly in this last few minutes of period number 2 on the penalty-killing effort, and now stymieing the attack of Alan May with 22 seconds left. You know what, the Capitals just go to the room and try and regroup and get themselves ready for a strong third period. And you know the games 3 and 4 will be played at the Cap Center. Over 100 playoff games now for Gordy Roberts. Have not been in the playoffs that much, but a lot have too. A lot of guys with a lot of games. Trottier for one. Here's Hatcher now cutting around a man, comes in, trying to shoot into the net. He couldn't do it. Tippett got it and centered it in front, but the Penguins, Gordy Roberts there again. Roberts kills the clock as he shoots it back to center with 10 seconds. There goes to Joey Mullen. Hook from behind by Hatcher. He drops it off to Loney. It'll come right to a Capital. 4 seconds to go in the period. Hatcher looks up. Hunter will try and take the pass and try and shoot it, but he'll not be able to as time runs out. And the second period ends. So in game 2, we played 40 minutes in regulation. And the score, the Penguins 5 and the Capitals 3, right here on the Penguins Hockey Network. Lead, excuse me, going to the second period, and they add to that. The scoring summary, Mark Recchi with a power play goal is third of the playoffs at 35 seconds from Coffey and Lemieux. John Drusen cut the lead to 3-2 with a power play goal by the Capitals. Recchi answered that at 5:51 to make it 4-2 Pittsburgh. But the Capitals again coming back, scoring with a man advantage at 11:36 to make it a 4-3 game. Stevens of Pittsburgh from Coffey and Stanton at 13:35, and the Penguins lead 5-3 through 2. The Penguins outshot the Capitals 11-8 in the second period. And my oh my, how things change in the game of hockey. From the emotional part of it, the way things go, momentum. The Capitals had it all for the first 13 minutes of the game, but only they got the one goal, and the Penguins came back, and they've stormed ever since, and they now lead by 2, 5-3. Paul Steigerball standing by with Ron Francis. Let's join them right now.
Thank you very much, Mike. Ron Francis really came on, I guess it would be back in Game 5, the third period of Game 5 of the first series between the Penguins and New Jersey Devils, and he's played very well ever since. On a line with Kevin Stevens tonight, Joey Mullen is playing on the right side instead of Mark Recchi, who's been moved back to the line with Mario Lemieux. Ronnie, I can't help thinking that teaming you up with Kevin Stevens certainly had something to do with you coming on the way you did, and you've really sparkled here ever since Game 5 of that series.
Well, you know, Kevin's a great hockey player, and you know, he's a big guy, and he's got a lot of speed out there, and when he's motoring, it opens up a lot of room for myself. And you know, it took a little while, I think, off the start in the season to read each other and get used to each other, but I think we're starting to play well together, and you know, starting to feel very comfortable.
I want to ask you about this game so far, because I know the Penguins thought they should come out flying and really try to take charge in this hockey game, and I guess it's not always easy to do what you think you're going to do, and obviously the Capitals were thinking the same thing, and I think Frankie Pietrangelo certainly had to be given high marks early in the game.
Well, you know, he certainly stepped in and played well for us ever since Tommy went down, and tonight was no exception. You know, first period, you know, we wanted to come out and try and get things on track early, and you know, like you said, what we want to do and sometimes what the other team has in mind for us are two different things. And you know, the first period we struggled a little bit early. I think the shots were 11-2 at one point, and Frank, you know, kept us in the game and gave us the opportunity to get back into it.
Bob Johnson said after the game, or actually said today, that he felt after watching the video of the Game 1 that you probably had your worst defensive coverage of the playoffs. What was he talking about, Ronnie?
Well, we struggled, you know, I think as a line and as units of 5 defensively in our zone. You know, we give them a little bit too much time to get the puck and handle it, and when we went in to take a guy out, we let him roll off us, and at times, you know, you see things happening and you want to do something extra to help, and you end up, you know, causing commotion actually and leaving your own guy open. So, you know, we just got to have faith in the guys that are out there, do your own job and do it well, and we should be fine in our own end.
Ronnie, we've talked so many times on the air about your ability to play defense, and even in the offensive zone, you seem to make defensive choices at times. Maybe you could talk to the fans about some of the things that you have to do when you don't have the puck to make sure that you're not caught in a tough situation, and should they get it.
Well, you know, that's something Bob's talked to me a lot about. You know, he wants me to make sure we're in the good defensive positions. And offensively, I think that means, you know, if your first two wingers are in there working hard and forechecking, you don't want to go down there with them and let the puck pop by, and then they have a 3-on-2 advantage. You know, so the third guy has to stay a little bit high, read the play. If he's got a chance to jump into it, fine, jump in. If not, just turn and pick up. So coming back up the ice, it's 3-on-3, and we don't really have any breakdowns.
Seems like you always keep yourself between the puck and your net, too, even when you're in the offensive zone. I've seen you gain position on guys and when you take the puck along the boards.
Well, you know, it's something you learn when you're younger. I think the best way to play it is watching basketball. It's always the man, then yourself, and then the basket. And we try and do the same thing here in hockey, and you know, hopefully you're successful at it.
Face-offs, a big part of the game. You and Dale Hunter had a thing going in Game 1. I know he likes to cheat and doesn't like to get set. What do you have to do to combat that?
Cheat more, I guess. It's basically the way it works out. I mean, the sentiment, it's an important part of the game, and everybody's jumping and itching, and they want to win the draw, and you're looking for any little advantage you can have on trying to beat someone.
Like Mike Ridley, for instance. And you got thrown out of the face-off circle on this one. What was the reason for that?
Basically got caught cheating too much, I guess.
Okay, well, just win a few draws, will you, Ronnie?
Thank you very much.
In the hockey game. Ronnie Francis, who will try to put that defensive play to work and protect the lead for the Penguins here in the third period. We'll be back in just a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Well, the Boston Bruins by 1. Shane Corson has been the goal scorer for the Canadiens in that game. The Bruins won the first game 2-1 over the Canadiens in Game 1. Here at the Civic Arena, the Penguins have a 5-3 lead over the Washington Capitals. The Penguins exploding tonight with a lot of goals. Bork, Mullen, Recchi with a pair for the Penguins, and also Kevin Stevens. And the goal scorers tonight for the Capitals have been Dale Hunter, John Druce, and Mike. Penguins had a 2-1 lead going to the second period when Mark Recchi connected on a power play goal 35 seconds in, Paul.
And it was a good, gorgeous setup by Paul Coffey as he threw it towards the direction of Mark Recchi and let him deflect it into the net. Twice Coffey in this hockey game has set up scores on the power play by more or less faking the slap shot from the point. Capitals came back and got a goal from John Druce, his first of the playoffs on the power play. But Lemieux went out to Coffey, and watch, he cranks it up, and that gives Beaupre the impression he's going to shoot it. Instead, he goes to Recchi. Beaupre a half second late getting over to Recchi. He got that pad down, but he just didn't get enough of the puck and went off the post and into the net. And Mike Ridley skating and doing it all himself as he came into the Pens end, just wristed one to the net that went off Samuelson's arm right on the elbow and skipped past Frank Pietrangelo. The Penguins with a 5-3 lead. Kevin Stevens added a goal to make it 5-3.
Capitals make a goaltending change. Mike Liut comes in, and that's one of the things I think the Penguins wanted to do in this series is try and force Beaupre out. And they've done it a couple of times over the last 2 years, and they get Beaupre out of the game here going to the third. And the Capitals make a goaltending change, and Liut comes on.
It might be a way for Terry Murray to send a message to his team. He wants them to start thinking, getting back to playing good defensively.
Kelly Miller puts in front of the Penguin net, and here's Berglund hauled down on the play by one of the Penguins and running right into the net. Coffey on here for the Pens along with Bob Ayers. Paul Stanton. Stanton's the man that got hurt on that play, trying to catch Berglund from behind.
Just to add what I was saying, I think Terry Murray sending a message to his team to play better defensively in front of his goaltender, and maybe giving Liut an opportunity here, figuring this would be a good chance to work him in. Beaupre hasn't played the entire time in the playoffs. Liut has played a couple of games.
Well, Liut's biggest moment of the playoffs had to come against the Penguins in a game in St. Louis.
Yeah.
In the early 80s when he defeated the Penguins in double overtime. You remember that one? Greg Millen matched up against Mike Liut, and Mike Crombeen scored the game winner against the Penguins in the second overtime period, and in what turned out to be a wide open hockey game. It wasn't one or two shots in an overtime or something like that. I mean, they were just going end to end the entire first overtime period, and into the second. Finally, Crombeen connected and put it in.
Mark Johnson was stopped by Liut on a breakaway, as I recall, and in that overtime. Penguins' backup goaltender is Bruce Racine. He's like a heartbeat away from maybe coming in here, that would be a tremendous opportunity for that young guy.
Out of Northeastern University, left point Penguins in. Here's Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher moves it over now to Calle Johansson. Johansson shoots it. Where is it? Pietrangelo trying to find it. He kneels down. It's to the left of him. And now the Penguins cover. We have break there for the Penguins. They could not find the puck. And they call for the trainer quickly from the bench, or did they? Well, it looked like Gordy Roberts waved his hand towards the Penguin bench, and Francis was hurt.
I think he was throwing the puck to the linesman.
No, he waved to the bench. He really did. Yeah, he waved his hand as if to get somebody out here, and nobody did come.
Johansson just threw it to the net. Pietrangelo stopped the puck, looked behind him for the puck. Francis went down right on his backside. Pavanka landed on top of him. Roberts stepped in there and got himself the puck somehow. Frankie's back was to the zone. He was facing his goal, looking for the puck.
First minute of play, third period, and what the Capitals want to do, as they did in game one, is try and strike early. They were down 2-1 going to the third at the arena on a Wednesday night. These playoffs have me confused on days, I'll tell you.
Yeah, I know.
Trying to keep up with them. And here's Stanton. He controls around the right side to Joey Mullen. Mullen's pass intercepted by Michael Pavanka. Pavanka sets up shop in his own end. It's Friday, Michael. It's Friday. It's Friday. And here's Hatcher. Whip it back into the Penguins end, and Stanton delivers it around the left wing boards for Kevin Stevens. Stevens moving up in the play, going to Coffey on the right wing. Coffey steps in, but the Pens are offside. And now Coffey, and now Stevens gets involved. Who's he battling with? He's involved with Stephen Leach of the Capitals. Kevin Stevens and Stephen Leach.
Stephen Leach was benched early in the playoffs when the Capitals played the Rangers, but then came on and played very well for them in the latter stages of that series.
And particularly the deciding game when they beat the Rangers 4-2. Leach and Stevens will both go off here, when he was kind of a dominant factor using the body against the Rangers in that sixth and final game.
has the ability. He just hasn't been able to find the consistency that the Capitals are looking for. And I'll tell you, to be a consistent performer in the Capitals lineup has got to be very difficult, because you've got to be willing to work every night, take the body and grind it out, because that's just the style they play. And it can be tiring and it can be demanding. And I think it probably takes some players a while to get accustomed to doing that night in and night out for the Washington Capitals. I asked Terry Murray about it. He said it's an acquired skill, a learned skill, to be able to check along the boards and do the things they require. And he says we have a lot of meetings and we talk about it and we stress it constantly to our players.
Murphy giving the puck to Phil Bourque. And now ahead of Yager, left wing of the Capitals in. He moves against Lager, shoots it right out on Liut. Got a glove up to make that save. And Mike Liut pulls it in. Liut had started a game against this Penguin team on the year, and I think the Pens had 4 goals against him in that in an opening period, or was pulled during the course of the game.
Liut, one of only a couple of goaltenders in the NHL who turns the stick over when he handles it, rather than shortening up on the stick with that stick glove and then using the catching glove as the shooting hand or the lower hand. He'll turn it over and hold the end of the stick with his glove hand and shoot with his other hand. He's the only goaltender who does it. Graham Pang does it too, but he didn't play anymore in the NHL.
Now a fight breaks out here behind the Capitals goal up to the faceoff. Is that Dale Hunter and Brian Trottier battling one another? Right back in behind the Washington net. Brian Trottier trying to get at Dale Hunter. Hunter is down on the ice, and the linesmen have stepped in quickly.
Well, those two have had battles raging for years, and Trottier making an effort to get Hunter off the ice, figuring that best place for Dale Hunter at this point is a penalty box.
Well, they're not unfamiliar to one another, that's for sure. And it is a Penguin lead of 5-3 here in the third period. Penalties coming up to Hunter and Trottier. We'll be back in a moment on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Just because a car's practical doesn't mean it can't be fun. Meet Max, the new special Max Edition Mercury Topaz. Maximum value, maximum style. Just check out these extras. For a limited time only. The special Max Edition Mercury Topaz at your Lincoln Mercury dealer now.
Oh, pretty woman.
Both men, Trottier and 5 of the majors to both Trottier and Hunter. By the way, Mike Liut replaced Jim Ribnak in the game on November 24th in a contest to come out and play the Pens, and then he was replaced by Donnie Beaupre on December 26th in a game the Penguins won at Washington 7-3.
Trottier trying to get away from Dale Hunter, realized that he was going to have to start fighting him, and he did, and they both went on for fighting. 5 minutes.
Gordy Roberts leaving the puck now at the Penguin line for Larry Murphy, who circles back. Murphy on the play, banking down the boards on the left wing side of the Capitals in. And Liut, big, tall, rangy goaltender. Bringing the puck back to center. Liut is first down the Pens, put it in front. And a backhand attempt by Yager. He couldn't get the shot on the goal. Yager goes behind the net, working around to Yuri Hrdina. Hrdina of Pittsburgh. Pressured on the play by Mike Lawler. Bourque is in too, so is Yager, and Yager comes away with it, but now it's poked up his stick and right through to center. Dino Cicerelli going back into the Penguins end. Feed it to Tippett, cutting for the goal. He's there. His wrist shot, glove by Peter Angelo. Knocked in on the rebound, but the whistle had sounded. Are they giving it a go or not? A hooking call. There's going to be a penalty coming up here. There'll be a penalty call. The puck was knocked in, but it'll be a hooking call against the Penguins. Gordy Roberts.
Yager started this play for the Caps back in the Capital zone when he came out with the puck towards the Penguin zone and lost it, and the Caps picked it up, and then Yager coming back seemed to lose track of who he should be taking coming back into his own zone, and the Caps were able to get a man to the net, and Gordy Roberts pulled that man down.
Boy, the Pens got a break there because it never appeared they had full possession of the puck, but I think that Gregson lost sight of it and blew the whistle. The puck bounced free and Kristich put it in. 2:02 the time of the penalty. Capitals on their 5th power play chance.
You had 2 Penguins on 1 Capital and another Capital going to the net unmolested. On a 3-on-3 situation.
You wonder, and I'm looking at the series overall, and this game's far from over, but the Capitals are surviving on their power play right now, winning games and getting back into them, and I don't think for a long series that's going to be the case. Here's Johansson center point, left side over to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher moves, shoots to the net, stop, rebound, knocked in, they do score! Cicerelli gets the goal, and the Capitals make it 5-4. And they score another one with a man advantage. Unbelievable.
And it's all starting with face-off wins and shots from those point men, and the Capitals collapsing players around that net. They don't really spread out the power play and try to stretch out that box. They more or less collapse around your goal and just cause so much traffic in front of the goaltender and hope that those point men will have enough time to get shots away. Mike Ridley did handle the puck along the near boards, but when he went back to the point, there was a lot of stuff happening in front of Frank Pietrangelo. Kevin Hatcher has that ability to circle away towards the blue line and get people moving, and he shot it back to the net. Frankie gloved it but didn't hang on to it, and Cicerelli can score with his head. He's amazing. He was down on the ice and was able to shove that puck into the net to make it 5-4.
Boy, a huge goal by the Capitals. Dino Cicerelli, number 3, and it makes it a 5-4 hockey game.
And they got a power play goal early in period 3 of game 1 that got them momentum, and they ultimately tied it, then won the game.
Well, to their credit, their power play has been absolutely phenomenal. The Penguins' penalty killing has just not been able to do the job. And now they still lead by 1 to the Penguins. Capitals now have 5 power play goals against the Penguins in 2 games. Down the left wing, Bob Airy. He'll cut in deep. Penguins have poked in 2 tonight themselves. Capitals are now 5 for 9 on the power play against Pittsburgh. And Ridley works it up over to Kelly Miller. Back to Ridley again at equal strength. They haven't fared real well. Here's Johansson shooting the puck right to the Penguin net, and Pietrangelo will glove it and hold on. You can feel the Capitals trying to regain the momentum right now and get back and tie the game. Early in the season, Paul, you may remember the Capitals had the best power play unit in the league. We talked about this, and the best penalty killing, and it really carried them. They had a pretty good record at the start of the season.
They won 5 in a row in the month of October. It's the only time they put together a 4-game winning streak, which is what they have right now going into this game.
But it tapered off. They couldn't keep that power play going. Then it went on a long drought, and that's why I'm saying, I think in a long series, I don't know if they can keep this. Well, the percentage is almost ridiculous. And the Penguins are playing pretty well at equal strength against the Capitals, but it's on the power play where they're killing them. But if the Pens are going to survive, at least, in these games here early, then they've got to come up with some better penalty killing. Babaka in against Francis. Pittsburgh with a 5-4 lead. And Larry Murphy works it over to Gordy Roberts. Roberts moving the puck to Bob Airy. He'll come to center, and he is crunched by Cicerelli. He'll put a shoulder back into him. Remember that Bob Airy hit Cicerelli, and Cicerelli drew a penalty, hitting Airy back earlier in this game. Roberts again with possession for the Penguins at center red. And he will flip it on the left wing to Mark Recchi. Opens the hat trick, a 3-point night to lead everybody in the playoffs. Shot towards the net, blocked by Liut. Langway comes over to the right of his own goal. Langway stuffing ahead to center ice to Michael Babaka. Babaka, Washington going to the Penguins in, and the right wing to Cicerelli. He shoots it, but Roberts blocked that. Got his leg up. Now Murphy back in behind his own goal, and Pietrangelo to Gordy Roberts. Passing to the wrecking ball. And wrecking ball looks down on Lemieux. He cuts in against Iafrate. Backhand one. The save made by Liu. Didn't have too much on it. Iafrate taking Lemieux right against the boards, and the Capitals now lift it back into Penguin real estate. Pietrangelo has to come out of the net and play it. Around to the near wing. Leach gets the puck for the Capitals, but he can't shoot it, and Kevin Stevens will take command of the puck. Pressured by Tippett. Gave it away at the left point. The Capitals put it between the circles. Roberts turned around by Tippett. Tippett knocked down by Stevens, and play goes on. Now Leach get in the play by Gordy Roberts. Leach held against the boards. Francis comes in to take the loose puck for the Penguins. He is belted from behind. It goes to the net, and Pietrangelo whips it away over to Joe Mullen. Mullen shoots it back to center. Capitals' Mike Lawler turns in a hurry and throws it right back in. And Stevens to the Pens. Whip it back towards his own bench, and they'll stop the play, and a faceoff will be in Penguin ice. We have 15:27 to go here in period number 3. Still a close one. The Penguins 5, the Capitals 4 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
In case you've been too busy to notice, McDonald's prices have changed. An original hamburger is just 59 cents. A cheeseburger just 69 cents. A sausage biscuit 79 cents. But if you're in a hurry, don't worry. Because this is not a promotion. It's McDonald's today. And from now on.
Opportunity to watch Ron Francis work on the faceoff against Mike Ridley. Roberts is bleeding on the bench. He took a shot to the face, I think from Leach in the corner.
By the way, the Penguins won 13 of 24 faceoffs in the second period. Ronnie Francis won 4 and did not lose 1. But the Capitals win this one. Iafrate had it poked away by Stevens. Stevens of Pittsburgh after with Iafrate. Stevens trying to get his body in and play the man. They both go down. At the blue line, Francis worked it back as Stevens is back up. Kevin Stevens in the Capital zone of the slot area. He is turned around neatly by Kelly Miller. And the Capitals race back in the counterattack. Mike Ridley going to the Penguins' end. Stops, left side pass intended for the open man Stephen Leach, but the Penguins break up that move. And here's Stevens back, rushing back to the Capitals' end. Drop pass over to Stanton. Whack it off a stick around to the left wing corner. Herdina came in deep on the play. Headed towards a goal, blocked by the Capitals, and they will skate back with a biscuit to center ice. Kelly Miller played it up a skate. He gets his own pass back. Play it to open space to the left side of the Penguins' end. Stanton directs it over to Joey Mullen. On to Coffey with a three-point night. Coffey into the Capitals' end on the left side. He's trying to look for Bork. He can't get it to him. Capitals steal, and Kevin Hatcher and the Capitals trailing by 1. And Hatcher with a full head of steam to the Penguins' end. Slap shot blocked by Murphy. It caroms in around Peter Angelo. Worked it free over to Yuri Herdina. Herdina sent it ahead to the left wing. Too far for Phil Bork. It does bounce into the Capitals' zone. Bork gets after it, though, and he has the puck. He's knocked down by Hatcher. Yager's in looking for the loose puck, too, but Bork is on top of it. And referee Terry Gregson calls for a face-off in the Capitals' zone. Kevin Hatcher is a monster. You know how big Jay Caulfield is in street clothes? Hatcher is...
Oh, he's unbelievable.
He's gigantic. He's just like a tree. He reminds me a little bit of Tim Kerr, but Kerr's even bigger than him thickness-wise, but he is a gigantic man.
His head looks like a bowling ball.
Yeah. And he's all there, believe me. He's like 225, 230, and I mean, he's all of that. I mean, he's just chiseled. He really is. He's a
I'll tell you something else.
Strong kid.
He's a great kid, too. Got a brother, Darian Hatcher, who was drafted this year.
Hatcher, remember, was not, did he play in that? He played in the first game against the Penguins on the regular season. Remember in the contract dispute?
Yep.
Did he not play? I'm trying to remember the situation.
I think he did not play.
I think he did play.
Yeah, he did play. That's right.
He
came out.
He contract, agreed to terms that day.
He was not in good condition, but he played. We were amazed. I remember us being amazed that he was even out there as much as he was, considering he hadn't been in camp.
Here are the Capitals now with just over 14 minutes left in regulation. Whipping the puck into the Penguins in. It goes off the right wing corner boards and behind the net to Yuri Herdina. 5-4 Pittsburgh here in the third. Penguins trying to even the series at 1 game apiece. It will come to Yager. Yager down the left wing. Penguins won game 2 of the New Jersey series by this identical score, 5-4, 1 in overtime. And Jaromir Jagr's goal, remember that? And here is Stephen Leach. Can't handle the pass. Grant Jennings has seen limited ice time tonight for the Penguins. Now with Larry Murphy. Murphy will wrist it up into the Capitals' zone. Liut steps out wearing number 1 of the Capitals' red uniforms. Airy got the pass off the near boards for the Penguins. He tried to bank it over to Lemieux. Can't do it. Hatcher's after it near corner. And he worked it off the boards and back through to the neutral zone.
Look at the Capitals holding guys' sticks. They do it all night long.
Coffey again comes into the Caps in. He's sandwiched between 2 Capitals. Lost the balance on his skates and went off of him. Capitals sneak it back to center. They got Ridley behind the defense. Left side. He's got a man open. Berglund. And Yager makes a big defensive play to knock it away off the stick of Ridley. And goes on top of the puck in the corner. The great speed of Jaromir Jagr catching Mike Ridley before he can make a play. And the young guy, 19 years of age from Czechoslovakia, does not allow the Capitals a good scoring chance. 13:10 to go in the third. 5-4 Penguins on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Heads up, guys. All right, I want to review some basics. Left feet together, right feet together. That's pacing. Now, alternate feet together, that's trotting, right. You winners already know that. But I want all of you to be winners.
Be a winner at the Mr. Magic Premier Championship starting April 25th at Ladbroke at the Meadow.
Winning isn't everything. There's also place in show.
Jaromir Jagr going end-to-end to make a big play. I'll tell you, they had a man coming to the net all by his lonesome. Berglund, I believe, was the guy who was heading that way. Tim Berglund. He never got the pass because Jagr came back playing defenseman, covering up for his defenseman, Paul Coffey.
Face off to the right of the Penguin goal. Well, Stan was nowhere to be found either. The closest man coming back in the play was Mario Lemieux. The Penguins are really trapped out of position. Here's Stan now carrying the puck into the Capital zone.
They're the team that's leading, Mike, you know.
Iafrate turns him around on the play to center ice, and Coffey again with the puck, work it up back to the Capitals line. The Penguins have tried to deliver the knockout punch in this game a number of times. They just haven't been able to do it. Kelly Miller down, Penguins in, turn around by Coffey. Bob Airy coming up with it. The Penguins have had several 2-goal leads in this contest, but they've not been able to get that one to make it a 3-goal margin. The one that I think would have turned the game in their favor, but the Capitals will battle back in their credit. Ridley, Penguins in, shoots it right on, and Peter Angelo will glove it. Knock it down for Paul Coffey with 12:27 to go here in the third period. Outlet pass beyond the outstretched arms of Recchi. Deep in the Caps ice. Liut's going to come in. He has to play the puck because Recchi was right there. Recchi against Langway. Good matchup, but Hatcher's over to help the play. Kevin Hatcher of Washington. Beat it up to Hunter, who returns now after serving the major penalty. On right wing, here come the Capitals in the Penguin zone. Stevens will take a piece of Dmitry Kristich. Now here's Cicerelli shooting. Stop. Rebound. Johansson can't tee it up. And he goes behind the Penguin net. Cicerelli comes down from the step it in the backhand. Can't do it. Goes in. The Capitals score from right in front. And I think it was Cicerelli or Kristich that got the stick on it. And the Caps have tied the game at 5. They're right back in it. Cicerelli was right there, but I have a feeling it might have been Kristich who got the last stick on it.
Cicerelli almost scored the first time he came around the corner with a puck on the backhand. It was laying there. Peter Angelo didn't get down to cover it and went right between his legs.
Oh, it is Cicerelli.
Frankie didn't get down to get that puck as it was laying next to the post. Cicerelli got another stick on it as he just kept his head in there and kept digging for that puck and looking for that loose puck and finally poked it between the legs of Peter Angelo.
Boy, the Capitals rallied from a deficit. Now a penalty coming up here. And who's it going to be against? It might be against the Penguins. It will be. It'll be an elbowing call against Roberts. And now Kristich belts him back. The Penguins, after watching the Capitals tie the game, now will take a penalty that'll put them short-handed.
And Kristich tried to get one too, but he probably won't. Because after the whistle blew, he should have been smart enough not to do that. His team had a power play chance. They're going to get one anyway, but they should have taken it away from him.
All right, Pittsburgh will be short-handed here. Roberts headed to the penalty box on an elbowing call, and we'll be back 5-5 on the Penguins Hockey Network.
Gordy Roberts elbowed Kristich, and he will sit down for elbowing. Well, he took a shot at Cicerelli, knocked his helmet off. Kind of drilled him into the boards, didn't he? That might have been the penalty.
So this is power play chance number 6 for the Capitals. Already 3 for 5, and they have it, and the Penguins in. 5-5 the score. Trying to take the lead, and it's off Hatcher's stick and bouncing wide and back to center. The Capitals have never had the lead in this game. Give them credit. They battle back on all occasions. Now have tied it. And here is Ridley. I beg your pardon, they did have the lead. They had the opening goal of the game. My apologies to you. Standing around the far corner. Still in his own end. Ridley coming up with it. Out to the left point to Kevin Hatcher. Hatcher checked on the play by Gillen. The puck hops back to center. Mullen steps into Hatcher again. Looking for the loose puck will be the Capitals. They have it. They're into the Penguin zone. On the right side, Ridley with a wrist shot. Peter Angelo gloved that one and held on. And we'll have a face-off in Penguin territory. Capitals go to a change in their power play. They'll bring out the Hunter line with Pavanka and Druce. And the appointment will be Iafrate and Kevin Hatcher will stay off.
Sometimes it's not how many times you kill off a penalty, it's when you kill it off. And believe me, the Penguins would have been happy to kill off a few of them earlier in the game, but right now they really have to do it. This is going to be a time when the penalty killers, if they can kill it off and the Penguins can regain some momentum, can look back and say, well, at least we killed this one, the one that would have put us behind.
You know, Cicerelli has led the way back for the Capitals with goals here in the third period. Goals 3 and 4 in the playoffs. And he is out here again. He'll look for the hat trick. Center point, Penguins in. Iafrate shoots one that'll miss the mark. Ray Jennings handles it for the Penguins. Jennings moving around the far wing, but it comes to Cicerelli. Dumps it over to Dale Hunter and the Capitals, who dominated in the first period before the Penguins came back and took the lead. Now driving to the left point that goes by everybody and all the way back into the Capital zone. Caps are alive right now. They've got the momentum going their way. Michael Pavanka lost it to Grant Jennings, who whacks it back to the Capitals line. Iafrate sets up shot with 43 seconds to go on the penalty. Out the right wing, going to Pavanka. Into Pittsburgh territory. Pavanka around the boards. Hunter goes in. Bob Airy got a piece of him, but Hatcher flipped it up, and it comes to Gary Murphy. Looks for Lemieux. Lemieux takes over. 1-on-2 to the Capitals in shorthanded. Ariel Lemieux goes in deep behind the net. Iafrate can't stop him. He centers it back. And he tried to do, I think what he was trying to do is banking off Lemieux and having Kara behind him. Capitals spin it back to center ice. They try and go into the Penguins in there well. Dale Hunter to the right wing. Hunter brings it in deep, going behind the goal. Paul Stanton rip it around the boards and out, falling to the ice. 9:50 left here in the third period. Penguins 5, the Capitals 5. Calle Johansson's up on the fly. Leading up right wing. Coffey goes back. The penalty is over. The Penguins are back to equal strength. Capitals have it. Penguins in though. Johansson cutting for the neck, and he shoot it. He can't. And they put it in right in front. Tim Berglund gets the go-ahead goal for the Capitals, and they now lead 6-5. Tim Berglund from right in front. A loose puck around the net. The Capitals have the lead by 1. Well, the Capitals with a big third period comeback again.
Coffey cleared the puck around the boards. It came right to Hunter. He put it down in the corner. They moved it right back out in front. And Stanton was reaching for that puck. I think Stanton might have put it in his own net.
Scored by number 6, Calle Johansson.
The puck came in front, and it looked like Paul Stanton was reaching for the puck. No, it was Coffey. Was it Coffey who put it in his own net?
Time of the goal, 10:26.
Sure looked like it.
Second of the playoff, and Cicerelli.
Calle Johansson will get the goal, his second. Ridley apparently has the assist, and it's now 6-5 Washington.
I'd like to get another look at that one.
Cicerelli and Hunter. The assist on the goal. Johansson gets it, and it gets by the Penguin netminder, Peter Angelo, and it's now a 6-5 Washington lead. Here come the Penguins now, trying to get back in time of the game. Stevens of Pittsburgh, long shot. Liud makes a save. They replace Liud with Beaupre. Put him in, Paul Beaupre. Liud has held the Penguins without a goal, and the Capitals have scored 3 times. On the right wing, boys, Larry Murphy feeding the puck on the Capitals into Ronnie Francis. Francis now over to Kevin Stevens. Stevens pass it back, but Roberts got a stick on it and it deflects to center ice. Roberts going back on the play to his own end now. And the puck to Joey Mullen. What a game this has been. The Capitals had all the advantage in the first period before the Penguins scored. Then took the game away from the Capitals, and now, again, Washington's regained the momentum. Here's Stevens offside of the fans going to the Capital zone. And it's been all Washington here in period number 3. 8:41 to go here in the final period of regulation. Washington 6 and Pittsburgh 5 on the Penguins Hockey Network.